In your life, you've often perceived that you're wrong, right? Because as a child, having big feelings and leaning into the belief that, wait a minute, my eraser broke off of my pencil and being really upset about it. At times, your parents didn't have the ability or capacity because they were dealing with other things like finances and being and doing all the adult things. And so they just wanted the noise that you were making to go away. They didn't know how to meet you with an open heart. And so from that, you took away the belief, I'm wrong. My feelings, my thoughts don't matter. I'm doing life wrong. I shouldn't feel this way. And you also took on the misunderstanding that what you were feeling wasn't validated, that you shouldn't have big feelings about anything. And the more and more that happened, the more you shut down, and it wasn't an option for you to feel good. There was this frenetic, this being ashamed how you felt. There was this freeze response. I should feel another way than I do. And the more and more those freeze responses and misunderstandings were introduced into your field, or you were told you shouldn't feel the way that you do, the more other feelings of hatred of self, disconnect, futility popped up. And the more and more the disconnect from yourself was elevated. There was no room for feeling good about yourself. There was no room for what am I passionate about and what makes me happy, because those things were seen through the eyes of others. You want to draw? What's the value of drawing? You want to write? Who's going to buy that? And so giving yourself permission to recognize all the noise that you've been fed your entire life. This is what a good mom would do. This is what a good dad would do. This is what a good daughter would do. This is what a good son would do. You shouldn't feel that way. And the more and more shame has built up in your life. And then you lived through these patterns and through these lenses and misunderstanding. Oh, it's Monday. I need to scramble. I need to rush from one thing to another. I should be somewhere else than I am. And it's this inherent rat race. And it's not even real, but it's what you're used to. It's your comfort zone. There's this misunderstanding that life could be any different from what it is. And when you get used to living through the lens of futility, shame, chasing, I'm wrong, I should be somewhere I'm not in my life, when that happens, you get so used to it, there's this inherent comfort zone of the ego. And the ego likes a good normal because it feels like it's safe and it's in control. So if you're scrambling, if you're disappointed with yourself, your life, thinking it should be different from what it is, when you begin to change, there's this inherent, no, don't change, right? I don't want to change because I like my comfort zone. So when you begin to change, it can feel like ass because it's different. Change doesn't feel safe because you've never done it before. And yet, as you lean in and start doing your work, the old way of abusing yourself, making yourself wrong, those old patterns get so old that you can't even stand it anymore. So you're on this precipice of change. And on the other side of it, on the other side of loving yourself, valuing yourself, not agreeing to make yourself wrong anymore. On this edge, there's a new possibility. I give myself permission to heal, to feel all of my feelings through all layers, through all levels, through all lifetimes. I give myself permission to like what I like because I like it. I give myself permission to elevate my self awareness. And in order to elevate your self awareness, one thing that is super important is to disconnect from the collective consciousness. The collective consciousness of your family of origin, believing what you're believing because that's what you were taught, but never questioning it. This also requires disconnecting from the collective consciousness of the city you live in, the culture you live in, the world you live in. So placing your hand on your heart and making the request, even though I haven't known it was an option, I now ask to completely and fully disconnect from the collective consciousness of my family of origin, of my society, of the world. And instead, I desire to fully connect with the highest enlightened awareness of my soul, trusting guidance at a level of connection with the light, the truth, the love that I am. Now, now, and now. I'm willing to surrender and release the need that in order to be a good person, I have to hang on to shame, to hating myself, to be disappointed in myself. I release, I release, I release. I give myself permission to feel into the safety of changing as I elevate my consciousness. I give myself permission to feel safe as I lean into a new relationship with myself, one that is loving, one that is kind, one where I have my own back automatically because I deserve it. I give myself permission to be different from my family of origin. I get to love them exactly where and as they are, and I get to be me even more. I release, I release, I release any and all stories and limitations and held emotions stored in my body that keep me held in limitation now and now and now. Feel any and all aspects of self-hatred simply melt and wash away, moving out and through your body as more expansive love, as your capacity to love yourself expands even more fully. There is a new way to love yourself even more fully as you are. And that includes loving your past self who didn't know how to love even more, who didn't know your goodness, who didn't know that changing is absolutely safe. Feel the relief wash through your body as you open up a new way to be even more you, to accept all of your feelings as they are, recognizing your feelings aren't the truth of who you are. They are showing you often what's up for you to heal. And with that, also giving yourself the opportunity to know that anything that's happened to you in your past, 5 minutes ago, 5 days ago, 5 months ago, 5 years ago, 5 decades ago. None of that defines you. You are not what has happened to you. It has shaped you, but it does not define you. When other people didn't know how to live a connected life in loving you, valuing you, and respecting you, that said nothing about you. You are love, and you deserve to be loved.